I'm Rachel Ramrus. I play Young He, Mike's daughter, on Mike Tyson Mysteries.
And I guess it'll be the obvious. How was it working with Mike Tyson on this show?
I truly have only found him to be like the sweetest teddy bear. He's really, really sweet. He's so eager, up for anything. He tries really hard. I mean, he's really great. Yeah. Well, we don't know, who left her on Mike Tyson's doorstep when she was a baby, but she's been raised by Mike ever since, homeschooled by him, and she's she's like a sheltered kid. Like, I don't think she has any friends, doesn't date. But she has a family in the Pigeon who she has a sort of a cantankerous relationship with because he's, a degenerate. And then Marquis is sort of like, to me, he's very Tim Gunn. He's very like the maternal figure in the house, looking after everyone. So he's probably my motherly influence. And then Mike is, my dad, who I think a little role reversal. Like, I probably take care of him more than he takes care of me. I maybe worry about him a bit, but go along for the ride with these mysteries until Lord knows what she wants to do with her life. The possibilities are endless.
So was Mike involved one of the enticements to do the show, or just?
Oh my God! Who wouldn't want to work with Mike Tyson? So, I thought it was a blast. I mean, I worked at Warner Brothers for years. Working on the Looney Tunes show and Mad, and so when this came around, it just seemed like a nice. I've been working in children's animation, so this is a nice, more adult venue. Being able to write these scripts, there's a lot of freedom. Writing dialogue for Norm Macdonald is like a dream come true. It's Jim Rash. It's so much fun.
Yes, I play the Marquis of Queensberry, who at least refers to the real John Douglas of Queensberry, who was the boxing, endorsed the official rules or invented the rules of boxing. So I'm in Mike's life to help him with this next chapter. He calls me Marcus because he can't pronounce Marquis, and I just go with it. And so I'm sort of like the voice of reason, or at least the highway to heaven guide through this process. It's a lot of fun. He's flamboyant and fun and very proper, or tries to be.
Ever envisioned yourself doing something like this with Mike Tyson?
No. I keep thinking in my head, like, what if I had this, dream when I was a child, or this image of this moment, it came true. Like I put it on a vision board back in the '80s before people called it a vision board, and it happened. But it didn't happen that way.
I believe it got started because Mike Tyson is he's just such a, he's involved in all things, and I think cartoons was just something he thought he should be involved in also. But it turns out he's a big fan, genuinely, which seems odd that he would, but he knows a lot about old cartoons, especially from the 80s, and he's genuinely into it all. So I came from him, and then I don't think he had a real strong take on what it ought to be, what the show ought to be about, but and then I think that the reason it was called Mike Tyson Mysteries was just because it was alliterative, and it sounded good. So then after that, it kind of fell to us to figure out how to execute it. But that's basically, it came from Mike, which is impressive.
So the ideas came from Mike himself? Or have any ideas?
Being a cartoon.
Because we brought these ideas where you're like, you tell him. No, you got to tell him.
Yeah.
Just in case, so he would.
Well, the show roughly looks like either Scooby-Doo or those 80s Hanna-Barbera shows. It has that look. And then there was like that show Mr. T, I think.
Yeah.
And so to some extent, like, it lends itself toward parodying those same sort of well-meaning, well-intentioned, benign mysteries that kind of stuff. There's a teen, there's usually a kid, that sort of thing. And so to some extent we were going to replicate that. But I, as a writer, I'm not really a fan of those old shows, and I could care less about them. So I just wanted to write about something make it so it's more grounded than that. So even though there is a ghost, and there's his adopted Korean daughter, and there's a pigeon that talks, the only way I find things funny is if they seem relatable and they seem real. And so we kind of had to work hard to make those crazy elements seem grounded.
What was kind of your inspiration for the look of it? It kind of looks like Scooby-Doo and old.
Well, I can see that you could have affinity with the Globetrotters because they have the sweatsuit on. This is basically the kind of sweatsuit they had too back then. But it's just basically a Mike Tyson athletic sweatsuit. I have my adopted Asian daughter, Korean that is. I have my pigeon. I have the ghost of the Marcus of Queensberry. And I don't know, this is pretty much like you say, the takeoff of Scooby-Doo. And it's just a different cast. Same thing, different cast. And this is pretty cool.
So, Mike, can I ask you a question? So, I feel like you obviously had a very turbulent past, and I feel like in some ways is this like some kind of either redemption or rehabilitation of your image, maybe?
I don't know. I don't believe in redemption.
You don't believe in redemption?
I don't think people. There's no such thing as the new person. He just don't act the old way anymore. We're all who we are, and we have to learn through mistakes. I don't think I redeemed myself. I don't think I got brown points. I think I grew up.
Okay. So, what about the rehabilitation? Like your image, you're so fun in this. I mean, you're obviously fun in real life too, as long as you don't get cross.
When I was a fighter, that guy I had to be. He suited that situation real well. Even though some people made him a little. He's uncomfortable to be around. He suited that situation, and I suit the situation that I'm involved with now. I'm pretty much an animated comedy guy, and this is who I am. Whatever role I have, I played to the T. I had to play the role of the baddest man in the world, and that was a bunch of stress, looking mean at everybody, not laughing. No, I never laughed and stuff, but now this is a whole different world.
You're laughing now. There's a lot of comedy in the show. What makes you laugh?
Oh man, my kids and just life in general. Where I am now from where I was 10 years ago. You think about where I was in 2005 or 6 and stuff, and where I am now, and just think that I met kids. There's some kids that just know me as an actor. There's a 15-year-old kid, a 16-year-old kid comes and he said, "Mom, they go Mike Tyson, the actor," and then his mother has to explain, "No, he's really not an actor. He was this guy." She had to explain, and that's pretty cool.
Was Mike Tyson being on the show kind of incentive to come on, or just?
Well, the incentive was I'd known Hugh Davidson through our time at the Groundlings, and obviously we're friends before all this stuff. And so when he told me about My Tyson Mysteries, I was already on board working with friends. But yeah, you hear Mike Tyson Mysteries, you hear 80s, you hear Homage, you hear your childhood, and you're like, okay. And you hear You're a Ghost. So across the board, you're in.
What's it like being at Comic-Con surrounded by children and stuff?
Oh, well, it's like, I think it's my 3rd or 4th year in a row. It's always been fun. I mean, I've always been here with Community, and then this year doing that and this, and it's always a fun place, especially to be on a show like Community that survived because of the fans that inhabit Comic-Con. So you're these are the people that kept us on the air. So it's always a fun community to be a part of. Literally use Community. That's sort of gross that I use Community in my explanation. But I said Community enough.
In that vein, how would you describe the show's sense of humor?
It's relationship-based comedy. So it's not like joke. I mean, it's really like more situation comedy. So it's, they're in crazy situations, how they respond and react to each other. So the characters are really rich, which I really think helps the show. So it's not like everyone's lines. On some shows, everyone's lines could just be, you can't tell. It's like everyone's funny or whatever. Everyone's character is really specific on this show, and it's really added to the comedy, I think. And it's just a weird dynamic. I mean, a teenage girl, Mike Tyson, sort of a flamboyant ghost, and a gross pigeon. That's ripe for comedy, right? It kind of writes itself, so.
Doing it, the WWE with scripted, also like doing The Hangover, then also doing this. Do you prefer doing live action, or do you prefer just being a little more yourself behind the microphone?
I like it live. I have to be. I need the instant gratification. I love the stage. I love that more than movie. That's just it allows me to rise to my highest occasion when I have the when it's a possibility that I could be humiliated or embarrassed if I make a mistake. That allows me to raise to my highest potential.
Have your kids seen the show?
Huh?
Have your kids seen the show?
Yes.
What do they think?
I don't know what my kids really think. My kids really don't give me the feeling. They don't like me cursing. The girls don't like me cursing. My kids are not. They must be like me, but they're not aggressive. My kids are not like me like that. They want to do their own thing. They're pretty creative. They're different than me. They're a lot different than I am. They didn't have the lifestyle that I had. I don't think my kids ever had a beating or anything. They never got beaten. I don't know. Maybe they should, but I don't know. My kids are different than me. My kids are really different, which I'm so happy. I'm happy that we don't got to go to court, and we don't got. Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy that they're different than me.
Well, I think I should have brought a list with me of the episodes. Sometimes he doesn't even get to the mystery. Like in one, he's giving a commencement speech at a college. He's been invited as a celebrity to speak at a college to do a commencement speech. And while he's gone, young he gets kidnapped because the pigeon, who's a loathsome character, has gambled and been unable to pay his debts to a gangster who kidnaps young he. And then the pigeon and Mark... Oh, and by the way, Marcus is the Marquis of Queensbury, who everyone pronounces that, and British people would pronounce it the Marquis of Queensbury. And Mike confuses the title Marquis with the name Marcus. So he just calls him Marcus, even though he's the Marquis of Queensbury, and his name is John Douglas, and he's a ghost. He's from the 1800s. But Mike calls him Marcus. And this in fact caused so much confusion for just the production, for all of us, to talk about, because Jim Rash plays the the ghost of the Marquis of Queensbury. Everyone is having so much trouble saying, are we supposed to say Marquis, Marquis? What are we calling this guy? And then now we just call him Marcus, just like Mike. So at some point it'll probably just be his name's Marcus. But that's his backstory. And in that show, Marcus and the pigeon work together to get the young he rescued.
Did they give you a little bit of room to do improv on there, or is it more just to follow the script and?
The scripts have been great, so yes. But I think maybe here and there, throw in some improv or try some things, or we'll record some extra lines. Once the animatics come back and do some new little things they thought of in the end. So it's an evolving process, like anything.
Why did you want to do an animated show? What made you sort of say, come?
I want to do everything that anybody's trying. I want to see what I can do. I want to be the best I can be in anything. That's what I really believe in. And this is not from an ego perspective. This is just, I happened to. The first thing I got involved with it was the older gentleman that was involved with fighting, and so that's what I became, a fighter. But from just fighting, I used to believe my whole barometer is to entertain people. I used to believe that's what I'm born to do. I believe a couple of 100 years ago in another life, I was on a slave plantation and I was doing something. I was entertaining somebody. That's just what and not from a negative perspective. That's just who I am. It's just that sometimes when I used to do, you see me do it from a violent perspective, and sometimes that's not cool. But when you see me do it from a more of an easy and a lighthearted perspective, you can absorb it more. I think something to that effect. Just that I like doing it to the hilt. If I had to be that fighter, the baddest guy on the planet, whoever I said I was, whoever that guy was, I'm going to be him to the hilt. I'm going to bite your ear. I'm going to hit you after the belt. You're going to be afraid of me. You're going to know I'm the most feared man in the world. But right now you're going to realize I'm a cool guy and the most funniest guy in the world. I just want to be the best at whatever I do. I try to be the best at it.
So how has, with the sizzle reel, like was it shown during the panel just happened? How was the reaction from the crowd?
I think they loved it. I mean, I love that sizzle reel. I think it's great. I mean, we only have 2 episodes back, I think. So that was really just an amalgamation of 2 episodes with some other shots in there. So, but I think it gives an accurate portrayal of what the show is. It is. It's very, action-y and fun, but the relationships really come through, I think, as being the funniest part of the show.
Well, I'm a company man, so I work with DC Comics, right? So I love DC Comics and stuff, so your guys have to ask me other questions off the record later, and I can tell you some other stuff I like to do.
So then, as a kid, what cartoons did you grow up watching? Like
Batman, Batman, all DC dudes.
Super Friends.
Yeah, Super Friends, Legion of Doom. Justice League of America, Aquaman.
What about Scooby-Doo? It's a Warner Brothers.
Well, Scooby-Doo is pretty cool too. There's no doubt. Ooh. But they're all because we're from that era. I'm 48 years old, so that's all a great part of our life. So
What about mystery solving? I mean, the show's about mystery solving. How much of a mystery solver are you?
I suck at mystery solving in real life. Because
In the show too, right?
no, I'm really good in the show.
I thought it was your daughter that would say.
I know, but she's part of the family, so she's an extension of me, so I'm good.
Mike, you've gotten into wrestling, you've done Hangover, you've done stage show. Where does this rank on your achievements in your life and having fun at it as well?
This is really high. This is a paramount on anything that I've achieved before, because you have to think about it from this perspective. I come from a really dark side of entertainment to entertaining kids now. So that's really pretty cool but creepy too. I'm very grateful to be able to do it. I learned not to take myself serious, and I learned forms of humbleness. I'm not that I am humble, because if I was humble, I wouldn't have to use the word humble, but I'm learning forms of it.